I was like asking, I was thinking about when we're going to talk today, and I was like, okay, so Melissa's been in the trenches. You've been in all of the stages of motherhood. I've only known what I know now, which is up until he just turned 4. So
Right.
in the last couple of years, like I've been, thank God, home with him. Now he's starting to end, like now he's going to start kindergarten in a couple of years, so now
Right.
I'm able to like turn a page. So I was going to say, like, when you're at your stage, how much, like, do you feel happy that you have other things to focus on since your kids are not in that infant crawling thing? Like, do you think like you would need to have something else, or could being like full-time mom also be fulfilling for you?
Right now, no, I would need more because my kids are older and independent. Like right now, there's maybe just one flying around this house somewhere. The
Yeah.
other one's like at his friends. The other one's going to a sweet 16 tonight, picking their outfit. The other one has lacrosse in a little while. Like they're at school all day long. And then they have like an agenda when they get home. So no, the thing with me is I kind of experienced all stages of life with them because even when they were babies and toddlers, don't forget Joey's christening, he was 2 months old,
Yeah.
that episode, right? So I basically raised them on TV. And now that they're older, and when I say on TV, meaning like I was busy, right? Like I was working. And so now I'm still like, I couldn't imagine just being a stay-at-home mom right now because they're never home. It's like I'm watching my dog Nico on the couch right now.
Oh,
So it's like,
yeah. Because also you got married very young. Like
yes,
you
yes,
got married
25.
and you started your family. I mean, when I was 25, I was more than 10 years away from being married. So
Right.
I was living alone in my own apartment. Even when I lived in my um at home, I was close to my parents. Like, first you live with your parents, but did you have this phase where you had your own place between marriage and like living at home? Barely.
Yes, yes. I moved out on my own at, oh God, I was pretty young. I was like 20.
Yeah.
And I like right after college, and like no, not after college, like during college, I lived on my own and I had roommates and paid rent with roommates.
Mhm.
And then when I met Joe, I was living on my own. So I've always worked like 3 jobs and did my own thing. So I was like in party mode. Like I would say from 19 to 24, I was in the clubs. I was in like the limelight. I was in New York City, like walking out of the club at 4 a.m. or walking in sometimes. Like I was that girl that I was always out, but I worked 3 jobs. So by the time I had met Joe, I was like ready to. He was such a family guy. He just wanted to get married and have babies, and I kind of was like, I was ready to. But it was young. I was young. If I look back at it now, I would tell Antonia, no, you wait till 30. Like I would
Yeah.
say 30 would be a great time to like not 25. Like you need that 5 more years to like explore and you don't, thank God I picked a good one, but a lot of times who a girl's picking at 25, right, is
Yeah.
not who she's going to pick when she's 32
Mhm.
or when, you know what I mean, you might be looking for different things at 25 than you are when you're 32. So I think it's risky picking too young.
Yeah, because you don't know who you are yet. And you
You
don't
don't know who you are. You don't really know what you like. It's just one of those things. So I mean, I obviously got lucky. Joe was a great guy, and we both like I literally got married, and I purposely got pregnant 2 months after I got married. Like I got married in August. I was pregnant definitely by like November.
amazing.
So
That's
yeah,
one thing is that we do have in common in that timeline is I also got pregnant within 4 months of the wedding. So, but like it's really interesting. Like when I look at other people's lives, other women who I admire, and you're obviously one of them, it's because like in the last 4 years, one of the best lessons I've learned for myself is how to be my own best friend, because like we're on lockdown, you're with your kids, your family, you're at home a lot. But I also think about all these things like what are you going to do? Like, what do you do when you don't get along with your husband? What do you do when you feel isolated because you're busy being a good mother? You know, there's a
Right.
lot of things that you give up when you gain something else. Well, can you were talking about having all the jobs. What was your very first job?
Oh, my very, very first job, I worked on the Seaside Heights boardwalk at the pizza stand. Yeah, like when you see Snooki walking around the boardwalks, like I worked at one of those stands on the
Oh my God,
boardwalk. I
amazing.
served pizza and churros.
Okay, my first job was summer of eighth and ninth grade in between, and I was working as a pizza parlor as well, answering
Mine
the
was
phone and
eighth
taking
grade,
orders.
summer of eighth and ninth also. Same.
Amazing. So what was your like biggest lesson that you learned from your first job and that whole like your like favorite memory that you kind of look back on?
I always try to remember like the big pretzels. I used to try to sneak them and eat them. Like I would put them down and eat the pretzel, and I would be like, "Is this technically stealing?" I don't know. When you're like eating the pretzel every time you're at work. My favorite. I don't know. I just learned that you needed like the schedule. Like there was things I wanted to do, or if like there was a party that night, like I hated it. Kind of made me grow up because I had to call the guy, the boss, who it used to make me shy. I used to want my mom to do it, to tell him that like I didn't want to go to work that day, or like come up with an excuse why I didn't want to go to work as a 14-year-old girl. Like I
Did
just
she do it?
like I
Did
think
your
you
mom call
learn
for
that
you?
you have to like speak up for yourself, right? And like I remember used to be so shy, like not wanting to tell him. I'm like, "Mom, can you call him?" She's like, "Nope." She would never do
Oh,
it.
that's great that
Yeah.
she didn't do it because then
Yes.
now then when you moved in with Joe as a married woman, what was like one of the first things that you found out about him in living with him that you didn't know, like dating and everything? I mean, usually this is like a really cringy thing for me because I keep seeing people say they can't stand like the way their husband chews when they're eating.
Oh my God. Oh my God. If I had to pick one thing, if he were standing here right now, I always it irks me. And if I'm sitting on the other side of the table, like with couples, and we did like the girls together and the boys together, and I'm watching him talk across the table or talk this way, and his food, and I want to interrupt him and say, "Excuse me, Joe, swallow that first and then finish your conversation." I swear to God, it drives me insane. I was like, I don't ever remember this about you. Like, I think this is
Exactly.
new when I see the food in your mouth and you're talking and eating. Like, I think it would have bothered me, or maybe I was so freaking young, I didn't
It
even
is.
realize. But
No,
like, I realize it now, you know?
you're like, we must have been in a really loud restaurant or, like this dining room that we're sitting in at home must be a lot more quiet and echoey. It's like, I
Yeah,
feel like,
I'm like,
yeah,
why? That is definitely my biggest pet peeve, like hands down for sure
it
with
must,
Joe.
it must be a thing. I
Yeah, with everybody, but it's like obviously he's gonna irk me more than anyone else is gonna, right?
For sure. Because with like I for sure think that with Tommy, he was giving me representative 100% when he was still trying to lock it down. I don't think that he kept it real. He tried harder with like my friends, get them to like him and like
He
just
did.
he would sit with me. I remember I was getting laser hair removal and I'd be like and I'd be like, I've got an appointment. He would come with me and he would put the goggles on and he would sit there and he would watch a game. Now, if my life depended on it,
You couldn't get him to come.
nowhere. Yeah. I mean, and I get it. Like, we're clearly very, very busy now. We have a zillion things to do, which is like kind of like what life is now. It's like we're always racing from one thing. And like,
Always.
it's like, yeah. So, like, even with friends, with girlfriends, like, if a friend that is asking me for like lunch plans midweek, I'll be like, are you crazy? Like, who has the luxury to have plans in the middle of a weekday? Like, we're struggling to like be a good mom, be on a good routine, like stay fit, like lunch is very, it's a lot of calories or because I'm like you were talking about drinking your calories. I definitely had no problem just drinking my calories. and wine doesn't make me hungry for food, you know? So like,
Right.
yeah, but it's a lot of,
I live for now, quite the contrary. I live for a during the week lunch with my girlfriends.
well,
Live
that's,
for it.
yeah, because when that's what you reward yourself with, right? Like,
That's my reward, like during the week, especially, but you'll see, like when all your kids are in school,
mhm.
you're gonna want to go to lunch with your girlfriend. And no matter what, we always have like I have a Cosmo or whatever it may be, but like just order the salad, order a salad, even if it's just a salad, it's just to like get out, you know?
I think I'm gonna do that today. One of my girlfriends from Newport is coming. She's gonna drive down. We're gonna have to do something because
Yes.
she's not married. She doesn't have kids. So we have to, obviously we get to do something that's not momish, but
Right.
you know, like that's part of like the whole struggle is like, I am trying so hard to do everything that I just feel like it's a reward that I don't get that often. But you know, it's like at the end of the day, like we still, like you're, like you said, like my kid, my son, he's only in school for 3 hours a day. So
Right.
when he comes back, they want to do everything with you, right?
Of course.
So,
But
but
MJ, you're going to learn like your time, you're going through that stage, right? So you have to, we all put our time in. I put my time in where I couldn't go to lunch, I couldn't get my nails done. You put your time in